The current hourly rate for newly graduate pharmacists here in New Zealand post internship is $42.95 and up to $55. I think it depends on your working experience and your ability to negotiate. So if you ask me, I don't think there has ever been a time that it is this easier and lucrative for overseas trained pharmacists who would like to come over here in New Zealand to explore, settle down and practice pharmacy other than now. And also pharmacy profession has been recognized and added to the highly sought after or a trade in short supply here in New Zealand. So is added to the category ANZSCO level 1. So if you are a rater or a hospital pharmacist and you would like to migrate here and practice in New Zealand, is something worthwhile looking at. You're welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Julia Chinelo. I am a Nigerian trained pharmacist and I live here in New Zealand with my family, and I am on that long journey towards obtaining my New Zealand pharmacy license. So I blog about that aspect of my life and generally what living here in New Zealand entails for me as an immigrant. So if you would like to join the family, please click on the subscription button, leave your beautiful comment, and your girl will be right into it. So I would get straight into the topic of today. I would be sharing from my experience how I did my documentation following the non-equivalent qualification route and received a positive answer in less than 2 weeks. So before I proceed to the documentation proper, which is the whole essence and the topic of this video, I would like to enumerate the three categories of qualification classification by Pharmacy Council of New Zealand. So Pharmacy Council of New Zealand recognized those from Australia, those who are licensed and practicing in Australia via a route called Trans-Tasman Mutual Recognition Agreement route. So what this entails, there's an agreement between Australia and New Zealand, and registered pharmacists in New Zealand can easily move to Australia and practice, and those in Australia can easily move to New Zealand to practice. So if you are not registered in Australia, this is not for you. So the next category is called Recognized Equivalent Qualification Route. So these are for registered and practicing pharmacists in countries such as Canada, Ireland, UK, and United States. So if you're a registered pharmacist in these aforementioned countries, you'll be following the routes I explained above. Otherwise, if your country is not among the category above, you will be following the same route as me, which is called the non-recognized equivalent qualification route. Those will be pharmacy graduates from countries such as Nigeria, South Africa, in fact, the whole African continent, India, China, and a whole lot of that. So before I proceed to how I did my documentations and the documents I submitted, I would like to walk you through the 4 steps that you would walk through before you fully obtain your New Zealand pharmacy license. So the first step would be for you to apply and supply the documents I would be mentioning as we go further down this video. So the second step would be for you to sit for your KAPS exams after successful documentation. So for those of you who do not know the full meaning of KAPS, it stands for knowledge assessment of pharmaceutical sciences, and you expected to appear for this exam maximum of 2 attempts. So the third step will be for you to sit for your jurisprudence or law and ethics exams, which happen every August. And after that, if you come out successful, you are expected to enroll for your internship training program, which the provider is Evolve. So you have to look for an employer, either rater or hospital um, practice, where you would work for about 37 weeks and go through all the training and sit for exams, the assessment, the assignment, the calculation exam, and the final oral exam. So if you come out successful, then you would be eligible to register as a New Zealand pharmacist. So another three core questions that Pharmacy Council of New Zealand recommend that you should ask yourself and have 3 yeses before you can proceed with the documentation. So the 3 questions are: number 1, are you a registered and practicing pharmacist in your home country or anywhere else? You should have a current practicing license before you would be eligible to register here in New Zealand. So the second question is, are you a graduate of pharmacy? Do you have a bachelor degree in pharmacy, or do you have doctor degree in pharmacy? You should have a certificate. So the third question you should ask yourself is, within the past 12 months or 1 year, have you practiced in a clinical setting, which is either retail, community, or hospital pharmacy, at least for up to 12 months within the last 5 years? So if you have 3 yeses to this question, then you might be eligible, or you might have a successful feedback after your documentation. So let's proceed to the documentation proper. So the first document that you need to supply is a application form. I will be dropping a link to New Zealand Pharmacy Council where you can access this form. So after filling out the form, you need 2 recent passport photograph, which should be certified either by a justice of peace or the Rotary Public or any other authorized institution, a lawyer or something that can certify a document wherever you reside. And after that, you are required to pay a fee of 740 New Zealand dollars as at the time I'm making this video, and this fee is not refundable. And the fourth document required of you would be your CV, that is your curriculum vitae. You're required to have a detailed personal profile, your work experience, and your qualification well laid out in your CV. And the fifth document will be proof of ID. I use my passport photo page, and that should be certified as well. So the sixth document will be evidence of change of name for those of us who obtain their certificate in their maiden name, and due to marriage or any other reason your surname changed. So you should be able to supply a document as an evidence for the reason for that discrepancy. The seventh document that is required of you would be application for registration to practice as a pharmacy in any country which you had a negative feedback or which you were denied. So you should be able to open up and discuss the reason for the denial with Pharmacy Council of New Zealand. So the last document under this category is you should be able to disclose any health matter or conviction or any professional misconduct if you have had any in the past. It's important you open up to all of this so that Pharmacy Council of New Zealand will make that decision if you would proceed or not. And after these 8 documents that I mentioned here, you can open a profile with Pharmacy Council of New Zealand and upload them, or you can send them electronically to your case officer. And the next 5 documents I will be mentioning, they would be requiring your institution to send it straight to your case officer or to them. It shouldn't pass through you. So the number 1 document under this category is your transcript. Your institution where you obtained your pharmacy degree should be able to send a copy of your transcript to Pharmacy Council of New Zealand, either electronica or courier it to their address. So the second document will be your current practicing license and your past licenses from the Pharmacy Council of where you are practicing, to say that you're in practice. So the next document will be statement of good practice, and that will be from the Pharmacy Council of your home country or where you are residing. So the 4th document would be your references. If you check in Pharmacy Council website, you see a form titled Verification of Employment Form. So you have to download this form and send it to your referees to fill them out and send them to your case officer as an evidence that you have worked in the job description that you laid out in your CV. So the 5th document that needs to be sent straight off to Pharmacy Council of New Zealand, that doesn't need to pass through you, is your proof of English proficiency. So when it comes under proof of English proficiency, Pharmacy Council of New Zealand only accept 2, either IS or OET. In IS, you are expected to have an overall of 7.5 and a minimum of 7.0 in each of the band scores. That is your writing, listening, speaking, and reading. Then when it comes to OET, you are expected to have either A or B in each of the bands, but clubbing is allowed. What I mean by clubbing is that you can combine 2 sittings, I think within 6 months apart. So these are all the documents you need to supply to Pharmacy Council of New Zealand in the first step. And if they please with it, sharing from my experience, I received a feedback under 2 weeks because I got everything arranged, everything they wanted. So there was no compliance directive. That was when I received my favorable reply to proceed with my KAPS exam. So try as much as you can to make sure that you do a clean documentation, a clean job. I think you won't have any compliance directive like they are requesting extra documents or that sort of thing, which could further delay your documentation. So depending on the reaction and on the feedback I would get from this video, I would further go ahead to do whatever you guys want me to focus on. If you would like me to share tips on how to prepare for KAPS and generally what practicing pharmacy, to share my journey to the level I am in now, I would be open to doing all of that. But please do not go privately to engage me, because as you guys know, this is just very stressful here, and I do not necessarily think that there is anything confidential about you seeking information to become a licensed pharmacist here, we can share in the forum. It is easier for you, myself, and every other person interested. So till I come up with another blog, I still remain your one and only Alton about lady here in New Zealand. Bye for now.